Okay, when I was looking for winches, I didn't see a whole lot on YouTube about this, so I kind of wanted to just do a little video here about this Sherpa winch. It's a Sherpa Stallion, rated 25,000 pounds. You can't see it because it's down underneath there, but just got that installed, and runs good. Sounds like it's got good quality to it. It's mounted on a Go Industries winch carrier, brush guard, whatever you want to call it here. The brush guard is 2 years old. I had a different winch mounted on the truck previously. Broke the winch once and burned up the motor recently, so I thought it was time to try something else. It's mounted on a 2016 Ford F350 diesel. With the way it's loaded right now, the truck weighs about 10,000 pounds, maybe a little under that. But when I get into an off-road situation, it's usually just me by myself, and my winch makes the difference whether I go home at night or not. Most of the places I go don't have very good cell service either, so my winch is kind of my doomsday toy there, so I kind of depend on that. So this is the Sherpa. It comes from Australia. It seems to be everything they said it was going to be. I obviously haven't unspooled it yet, haven't pulled with it yet. Don't know how it performs. Maybe I'll do a video later about pulling myself up into a broadcast tower site someplace when I need to get there. But so far it looks pretty good. One of the things is the winch cover there. It's a good winch cover, but there's no provisions for mounting the control box on top of the winch. So what I did was I just went over to Walmart and bought a backpack cover, and I'll probably just wrap that around it to keep the snow and salt and everything else off of it here. Where we live in western New York, there's a lot of road salt, a lot of mess that gets on the winch, and I just as soon not have the winch get bound up due to road salt and so forth. Another option that they highly recommend, and I would too, is the shut-off switch. If you get into a front-end collision or something, you've got 12 volts right here all the time, and that could cause a fire. So it's real good to put that in. Now the reason I haven't put it in yet is if you've never looked inside of under the hood of an F350 with a diesel engine. Let me see if I can get the hood up here. I'm not really sure where I'd put that. It's pretty packed in there. So at some point I would like to put that switch in there just to be able to run that disconnected most of the time, and avoid those problems. So the Go Industries winch carrier, brush guard, it's very solid, rated at 16,000 pounds. Couple little drawbacks. They I believe they powder coat them, which for our climate here, the powder coating doesn't last real well on it. This one's been on the truck for about 2 years, and when I pulled the old winch off, I had to grind all the rust off of everything and repaint everything, and put cold galvanized and paintable undercoating, and then flat black paint on top of that. So that's why it looks all pretty now. We'll see how that lasts. I don't know. Replaced most of the bolts with grade 8 bolts, which is something that I did also with the winch. I replaced the mounting bolts that were shipped with it with grade 8 bolts and grade 8 nuts. So had to do a little bit of drilling there, but it wasn't any real big deal at all. The only real issue that I had with the winch was, of course, you know, Go Industries, they can't assume every situation. I had to re-drill the mounting holes for the winch. They were the right spacing, but with the way the winch holes were, or the mounting holes were in the winch carrier, it didn't allow the winch to be mounted in there. It was too close to the front of the winch here, or the winch carrier right here. There was no gap there. It was so I had to move the holes back. Now when I did that, I don't know if you can see back there, the winch cable is almost touching the bumper. As a matter of fact, I think it might be touching the bumper there, which is probably going to leave some drag marks on the bumper. But for having a 25,000 pound winch, it is what it is, you know. We'll have to deal with it. I'd rather get out and have a few scratches on my bumper than be stuck in the middle of nowhere by myself in the middle of the night or something. So one of the big issues that I have with every winch manufacturer is they always assume that you're in ideal conditions and that you're going to be able to pull straight. And I'm almost dreading unspooling this winch cable because I'm not sure I can get it back on there as nice and neat as they can get it in their factory. And then you can see that the well, let's see here. Well, there we go. You can see that the winch cable is just right there on the spacer bars. So you have to get the winch cable on there just perfect and with enough tension to tighten everything up. So I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm not really looking forward to pulling that winch cable out of there the first time and then having to spool it back on there. That's going to be a little project by itself. But it looks like a good solid winch. Sounds good when it runs. We'll see how all that works out. I don't remember if I showed you or not. Here's the disconnect switch that Sherpa sends. Good heavy duty switch there. All right, well, after I use it, or while I'm using it the first time, maybe I'll add a video to that.